So, this general election is getting extremely interesting, ladies and gentlemen. GB News, that was supposed to be a right-wing channel, a Tory-leaning channel, whatever, is actually showing a different result when it comes to the opinion polls right now. The latest poll from the actual GB News viewers shows that the Labour Party is actually leading by 21 points. Now, for the record, this opinion poll came out just recently, as in before they've done the new polling on Reform UK and Nigel Farage as the leader. I have a feeling over the next few days, over the next week, even GB News' poll will potentially change a little bit, because this one shows that the Labour Party, GB News viewers, 46% of GB News viewers will be voting Labour. Only 25% of GB News viewers will be voting Tory, and only 18% of them will be voting Reform. As I said before, the announcement of Nigel Farage as leader. So first things first, it's all about the gap between the Tories and Reform. 25%, 18%. That's already embarrassing for the Tories anyway. But it's not really a complete shock when it comes to some of the GB News viewers going towards Labour, because they were just angry at the Tories, and they were probably not convinced by Richard Tice's Reform UK. But things are changing now. So Reform now have Nigel Farage, and it's not really just about Nigel Farage, it's about how over the last couple of days Reform has already changed massively in terms of the support they're getting, Tory candidates defecting to Reform. The rally that Nigel Farage held earlier this morning in Clacton, which was just a local rally, and it had so many people, huge turnout, Trump-style rally that happened, and that's already changing things. We already heard from Nigel Farage that some of the policies might actually become slightly more radical. They are already talking about net zero migration. Now, migration should be zero, which is a good start. Obviously, ideally, I want it to be negative for a few years. Shut it down. Make sure you actually get rid of the foreign criminals and illegal migrants who are not supposed to be here. I know it's a tough task to do, considering we're still part of ECHR. But Reform UK also want to leave ECHR, so that's a good start. But this is about the fact that this could be the end of the Tory party as we know it for now. Labour Party should be celebrating. Over the last few months, we've seen the Labour Party leadership getting closer to GB News. They've been having conversations because they know that a lot of the GB News viewers are just ordinary people up and down the country. Not everybody watches GB News, of course, but those who are politically aware like GB News, and they were sick and tired of the establishment. But they're not completely all radical, because GB News is not really that radical, considering they cancelled some of their own presenters. But that aside, it still represents a lot of people in the country. So Labour Party realised that they should actually get closer to GB News rather than completely alienating them. And they can see the opinion polls, so expect Keir Starmer to become even more friendly with GB News.